Hari Om. Hari Om. Hari Om. Hello, my friends. Often I'm insisting, relax, relax, relax. Why should it be so important to relax? People are spending their time very much being in tension. The modern society, most of the people are always in stress, even if there is no reason to be stressed. The sense of being stressed, having to run, having to do this and that, always accompanied with a feeling of stress, with tensions that we are creating in the mind. Being afraid if we don't do so, we are not efficient. But that's far from the truth. Relax doesn't mean to stop being active. Relax simply means to become aware of the tensions that we are creating all the time and learn to let them go. Recently, somebody told me, yes, you can very well talk about relax with your lifestyle, but if you have dreams, if you want to achieve things, how can you relax? You have to put your energy into it. Well, my idea of relaxing is not it's not the American picture of relaxing after achieving, like lying on an easy chair at the beach under the palm trees and getting cocktails served. Relaxing doesn't mean to be lazy. Relaxing simply means relaxing. Relaxing simply means that we are becoming aware how we are unnecessarily putting attention in our system out of fear of not being good enough, out of fear of not doing the things properly, out of fear of if I'm not doing so, if I'm not stressing, if I'm not straining, I cannot be efficient. These are all wrong ideas, and we have imbibed them so strongly that hardly anybody is aware what kind of tension is there all the time in the system. And as long as we are keeping those tensions, it's very difficult to connect with yourself, to connect with the essence, with the truth, with that which is. If there are all those tensions, it's very difficult to really be in the present because it's always projected in a possible future. That anxiety of having to run, having to stress. All we need to do is bring the attention to the present, see what we are doing, see what kind of strain we are putting in our system on all the levels, and then learn not to do that anymore. Then how to relax? This question comes once in a while, but how to relax? You just give the impulse. You watch your body. You see what kind of tensions are there. You give the impulse to relax. It's very efficient if you start to relax the legs, the feet, and the rest of the body relaxes easier. The energy starts to flow easier. People are always talking about the chakras and thinking simply of the energy centers along the spine. But there are energy centers all over the body. There are strong energy centers in the hand, in the feet, in the organs. And if you are up on your legs and you consciously relax your legs and your feet, it's like you're activating those energy centers that are in the feet. You're opening and activating those energy centers. And if you continue relaxing, you will start to feel a very gentle, loving energy flowing up from the feet throughout the whole body up to the top of the head, which helps to let go, which helps to relax, which automatically quietens the mind, that the thoughts are not more so stressfully going round and round. And you become also aware you can do all the things that you have been doing day after day without stressing, being not less efficient, but more efficient. And many of the routine works, and everybody has some routine works in the daytime, in the usual day. And in spite of having done things many, many times, there is still that stress. There is still the tendency to be full of tension. And we can start there with those routine works, because it's easier than when we are involved in the midst of a crowd and have to talk. We have to be more active. But we can start with those routine works, doing those routine works. The body knows how to do them. They go on practically by themselves. And focus on relaxing. Focus on breathing and relaxing. And you will start to experience there is a change in energy in your whole system. And a loving energy, a calm energy, a harmonious energy that automatically is quietening down the mind. That we are not unnecessarily thinking so many thoughts while we are doing things, but just experience the present from moment to moment and let the energy flow. Let the work happen. You give the impulse and it's happening by itself. Doing and not doing flow into one. We have to learn to relax if we want to find peace. This kind of relaxing I'm talking about is the same what the tradition says to detach. We just have to let go, to hold on emotionally to everything, our ideas, our concepts, whatever is happening in the present moment, holding on with aversion or holding on with attachment. Both is attachment. But something we like, we don't want to let go. Something we don't like, we don't want to push away. We just give it a break, let go, and then deal with the situations, but have that readiness also. Moments that are very nice and pleasant, that we're ready to let them go and are again fresh and new for the new moment instead of holding on to the old one, missing the new one. And also that we learn to be ready to let go of an adverse situation, that we're not holding on in the mind, oh, somebody insulted me, and then it turns around and round and round. Keeping that weight on our shoulders totally unnecessary. As long as we are in tension, it's very difficult to connect. It may be very helpful, a moment, and there is something happening, to really be tense, to collect yourself, but then let go. Don't keep the tension. Sooner or later, the nervous system will react, and people keeping tensions all the time, having difficulties to relax. And if one has never really relaxed, it's not so easy, even if you are aware and give the impulse, relax, that it's really relaxing, but it's a beginning. It relaxes somewhat, even if there is not the full relaxation. If we give that impulse, relax, relax your legs, relax your feet, relax the whole body, something is relaxing. And if we keep on doing that, it becomes easier and easier. With some animals, it's amazing to observe. We have a lot of squirrels in the garden. They run after each other. They are in full action, and then suddenly in the mid of action, they just lay on a flat place, lay down, all the four legs in all directions, stretched out, and within a second, you can see they are totally relaxed. They become very flat. They, they collect themselves, they gain strength within very short, and sometimes they lay there for quite a while, but many times in the middle of action, they just stop, lay down, stretch their legs out, and plop. It's visible how they are totally relaxed and collect a lot of stamina like this. And within short time, they may jump up and run again and go for their games again. But every now and then in between, whoop, they just lay flat. And in 1 second, relaxed. For them, it's natural. They never learn to do the opposite. But we have learned to do the opposite with our upbringing, with our continuous being pushed. You have to do uh, this or that in the life. You have to make career. You have to get somewhere, establish yourself in the society. Struggling, that we think it is natural, it is necessary. We have to be in tension all the times if we want to get somewhere. Like that person who asked me, but if you have dreams, you cannot relax. But of course you can. You can have your dreams, after all. Not everybody has to become an ascetic. You can very well have your goals in your life, but we can learn to relax about them. It's not that we are less efficient, but we can stop being obsessed with it and think we have to achieve this or we have to achieve that in order to be happy, in order to be fulfilled. It's never working, even if we're achieving that. For a moment, it seems, it worked. I'm so relaxed and happy, but that nagging will come back again because we're looking in the wrong place for that happiness. Instead of becoming aware, if we let go, if we are relaxed, then more and more we become aware that happiness comes out of our own selves. It simply bubbles up if we don't prevent it. By being in tension, by being in stress. We are so indoctrinated that achieve is basically the law of life. Otherwise, you are useless. And that is so ingrained that to achieve, we have to be in tension. In order to put the energy into it, we have to be in tension. But this is not the truth. We can learn to be playful about everything. And then our goals may realize, or they may not realize. But it's not that if it's realizing, then I'm feeling fulfilled. If it's not realizing, then I'm feeling devastated. Then you take it, okay, something worked out, wonderful. Something didn't work out, so what? What does it matter? You are here temporary. It's just a temporary journey through this story, learning, growing, gaining experience. I'm talking more about relaxing than detachment, because detachment has gotten a little bit uh, one of those religious tastes. And I'm not saying this now in a positive way, the religious taste, the organized religious taste that is always very moralistic. It has nothing to do with morality to let go. It's not because we have to be good girls, good boys. We have to detach because it's the moral thing to do. It's simply, if we want to find peace, then we have to become aware that with our unwise employment of our life energy, of our capacity to think, of our capacity to feel, the unwise dealing with them, we are creating so much pain unnecessarily. And if we really sincerely look at it and become aware of it and let go, then life becomes more and more what it is meant to be. A playful journey through this story, through this time and space continuum, getting richer for the experience with every moment without unnecessarily making ourselves suffer or others suffer. Relax, relax, relax. It's not something moral, it's something that should be natural, that we have unlearned, and so we have to learn it again as if it was something new. Okay, I leave the subject with that. Then I'm asking you, my friends, is there anyone who would like to come in and say something? You are welcome to do so. Okay. Seems to be the case. Talk about another subject, very popular subject in spiritual circles awakening. When you have understood that maybe it's not such a good thing to tell everybody to be enlightened, so it has been exchanged with the word, with the concept to be awakened. It's one of those concepts that most of the time are not very helpful. People are on the spiritual path, they may struggle, then suddenly there is an opening, and then of course that idea comes up. This is awakening. And then just adding a new concept to their personality, that I'm an awakened person. But then that has all the time to be defended, because there is still somehow deep down that insecurity there, that after all, maybe it's not really what is meant with really awakening. And then people go out of their way, in their way they are talking, always to somehow indicate, yes, but you understand. In spite of that, what is happening, I understand. I know, I'm awakened. This process goes very different from one to another. There may a certain aspect just open and stay, but still there may be a lot work to be done until one is really liberated from that identification with the separate me personality. It's better not to indulge in that concept, even if something very unusual is happening. And even if that experience stays to some degree, not to declare that great awakening. Because otherwise it's a new burden that people see how awakened people carry that burden. Somehow they have always to prove to themselves, to others, that it's still there. Which is just another trick of the personality. There's not an awakened person. Be slowly, gradually waking up from that compulsion of identifying with that being that we have created in our mind, influenced from all that has been drummed into us. That this is me, that's what I am, me, the separate little fellow in the big world. Always having to defend my boundaries, always having to struggle for recognition, for achievements, me, that person. But then this kind of ideas is just adding one more thing to that person, one more aspect, an awakened person. But actually, the process of awakening is to become more aware. This person is a momentary appearance. I'm not this person. I'm just using this person as a means to connect on this level, on this three-dimensional level, in this time-space. but it's a tool that when we use it, it's there. When we don't use it, it's not even there. If we don't think about the whole story, then the person is not there. Then you just are. So this thing with that awakening, even if there are experiences, even if it's opening up something, maybe a new aspect of perception, it's still very much necessary that we have an honest, good look at ourselves and see what's going on, see how the mind is still creating that separation, see how the mind, how we are then from that identified perspective craving for acknowledgement. And then with the new thing, craving for more acknowledgement, that people should understand, should know, should appreciate, should confirm that I'm a awakened person. We cannot be an awakened person. We can just wake up from the dream of being a separate personality. This may go gradually, piece by piece. Suddenly, there may be a big chunk dropping off a totally new platform from where the experience, from where the journey continues. But even there, one has to be careful not to create the same thing again. Same me, different than the others, more awakened than others, like less awakened than that one, or whatever. This concept then becomes a hindrance, becomes a burden. Just be yourself. You all are ever free in reality. That divine being doesn't need to be awakened. It's always aware of its own divinity. It's just this projection within this manifestation that has seemingly gotten its own identity, but it is not true. It's just a reflection of that being, of the identity of that being that is not in bondage. This identity is then struggling and struggling and want to be free and needs things. It needs support from all around in order to be complete. Needs confirmation, needs good feedback. And so this whole game with being awakened is then just another way of indulging into that, of hoping to get all the feedback around, you are a great awakened personality. If something opens up, this is certainly a reason to be very grateful. It may make the journey much easier from there because things are easier to be seen for what they are and not indulge into the glamour that they appear to be and the promises they give if we are running after them, what we are getting out of it. So whenever that idea should come, this is awakening, be very careful about it. Don't take it serious. We are not awakened persons amongst unawakened persons. We can just wake up from that hypnosis of being separate, of being a separate being. Well, there is a uniqueness in the being, but there is no separation. So although people have become a bit more cautious about declaring they are enlightened, this is now very popular that everyone who has had some spiritual insight start to talk about their awakening. It's a process. It happens extremely rare that just in one stroke from quite an ignorant state, somebody totally wakes up to the fact, oh, this was all a dream-like story. My identification with this dream person was just part of the dream, but I never was that person. It's very rare that somebody wakes up like this and stays with that. One may have glimpses. For most of the people, it's like that. Suddenly it comes an experience that is opening, that at least shows us to some degree what could be there. But then the mind comes back, it closes up again, and there we can be devastated that it has gone again, or we can go out, be proud, and declare everybody what kind of wonderful experience we have and are awakened because of that. Or we can just accept with a grateful heart. Thank you very much for that grace, that inspiration to continue, to long for the truth, the whole truth, to long for reality, and not to get waylaid by whatever is happening on the way. The truth is already here. We're just covering up, and we have to let it go. And it's easy to say so for anybody, but I've let it go. But then in reality, there may be still a very strong identification, and an identification with an idea that has improved, has become spiritual, that has become awakened, and then get often very worked up and not happy if that feedback is not coming, if the other people don't want to acknowledge. It's the same story. We cannot wake up as a person, but from the person, from the identification with the person. After that, the story may go on, the theater may go on, the role may be played. No, it's just a role, and not limited to that role. When that urge comes in the sadhak, in the experienced sadhak, in the advanced sadhak, who had experience, when that urge comes to seek for feedback, for acknowledgement, for confirmation, then it's better to cut it off right in the beginning, to be aware of that longing, see what it is doing to the experience right now, and learn to let it go and not pursue that alley, that path. It's leading always to pain, because the identification is carried along, can become even worse, because when we create a pleasing image about ourselves, then the attachment may be worse than when we think, oh, that personality which I am is not very wonderful. Good to be very alert and not start to declare when something has happened to the whole world how awakened we are. Grateful. Okay, the journey is easier from now. And then let the journey unfold itself. And sometimes it may be totally unknown, to the whole society. And sometimes certain people have a role they play in the limelight, busy with many people. It doesn't matter. The fulfillment, the happiness comes out of one's own self. It's always there. It's always complete. It's always awakened. No need for confirmation from anyone. No need of acknowledgement and nice talk from anyone. It is in itself free, timeless, ever pure. Okay, again, I have been talking. Is there anyone by now who would like to come in? You are welcome to do so. Hello, Dial. You still have to unmute on this channel.
Sorry.
Now I hear you. Yes.
You can hear me now, yeah. Nice to see you, Werner. Last month I get tendency to do some devotional practice. I start chant mantra about 20 minutes, and then I start meditating. So I try to combine devotional part with vipassana, with observation.
Yes.
And still I not clearly how to use this help. I feel I need some support from divine power, and I try to invoke it. But then when I stop chanting, just sitting, I'm starting to do myself something. And I don't know how to express my question. Just not there's no clarity how to silently meditate with surrender for devotion. What how to say, what technique can I use, and or what approach can be to be in the silence, but in the prayer, something
Yes.
like this.
Well, when you do the chanting, then you feel that devotional mood during the chanting.
Sorry, Werner, 1 second. I do translation for Russians. Can you give me 1 second? I translate my question and then I tell you. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just a second. Yes, Werner, you can continue. Thank you.
Well, I'm asking you, when you do the chanting, then you feel that devotion, then you feel that connection through devotion.
Yes, Werner, I was a long time ago in Hare Krishna movement, and I did chanting quite a long time, about 2 hours every day. And I know this feeling when I'm chant, I'm becoming, how to say, open for divine power. I have this feeling when I chanting. Yes. Just a second. Okay, thank you.
Okay. But then you do that before you do your meditation, and you have been doing now all these years vipassana. So you can very well keep up that devotional mood that you have, and then still do your very familiar practice of Vipassana. There is not a contradiction to practice to meditate in a Vipassana style and at the same time open your heart in devotion to that divinity. So it's not that you have to learn a new particular technique. Keep the technique that you have been using on and on for a long time. Just stop making two totally different, separate things out of it. That you can do your Vipassana with full devotion, with full dedication. You may not conceive of a God somewhere when you do so, but you can do that with an open heart to just wanting devotion to truth, wanting to connect with truth, and then using your meditation, your technique that you have been using, combined with that devotion in your heart. And then it becomes very powerful.
Yes, thank you, Werner. I get some glimpses. It seems I can do that, but then it's move away. But it seems to just need some time, more practice, and just be more relaxed about it.
Right, right.
So
But you can very well continue a practice like this and not have a doubt whether this is right. You have the right to do your own blend of Vipassana, even if it's not exactly as prescribed by the teacher.
да, thank you, Werner. Thank you.
I wish you well. Practice is good. Slowly, the two things that seem to be different come together and become stronger because of that.
Yes, yes, I feel the chanting is something really powerful. I don't do it for many years, and when I started, I feel this is very easy approach. No thoughts when I'm chanting. It's very easy to stop thinking by chanting. Thank you, Werner.
Good, great, very good. Is there anybody else who would like to say something? Hello, Vikas.
Hello, Hari Om, Werner. Hari Om. Hari Om.
Mario.
I wanted to ask you about this compassion and empathy. How
Yes.
is it important in this path of spirituality? If you can throw some light on that.
Well, what do you want to discuss about empathy and compassion? You
Is
want the
it
definition, or what do you exactly want?
like how, if I am compassionate towards somebody,
Hmm,
and how does it help us to become spiritually? Because it is always said that we should be compassionate towards our fellow beings and
hmm,
our our nature and animals and plants,
hmm,
everything around us. But at one point of time, we eat them also. So at what point we have to stop compassion? At what point sometimes we see that like somebody is very poor, weak, and we would like to help them.
hmm,
But sometimes we are not, we can't help them.
hmm,
We maybe because of our own uh, place where we are working and various reasons, position in society, in whatever reasons, we have to work somewhere.
right,
So this compassion, how far it should go, and how does it help us in improving our spiritual journey?
right. It's good to become aware what compassion really is. It does not necessarily mean that you are doing nice actions all around. if you are full of compassion, you will spontaneously, easy do those moments of affection, those moments that you help somebody, but it won't be there in your mind. It's my duty as a sadhak to be compassionate, so I have to learn to express it in my action. Compassion is very much connected to empathy. And that empathy is gradually increasing the less we are identifying with that me that feels separate. And so for them, it's encouraged in certain school then to go out and do good things, because in that way you may learn to reduce a bit that identification with the me and you. But what is needed is really that clarity, that insight. We can go out and do good things and be very much identified and very much proud of our doing good and think we are a good sadhak, and keep up that sense of separation very much. And of course, you cannot, as a single-handed man, now go out and help every poor person that you that you encounter. But if they happen to come into your field of attention and action, when you connect with them, you can feel that empathy. You can feel what they are going through, that they are not happy because of certain things. And that very fact that you connect with them and feel that is really helping them, is really letting something very beautiful from you flow over to them. Then you may express it in action. You may do something or you may not do something. That depends of what feels right at that time. You cannot go round. You need not go round and try to always do good, do good, do good, do good in order to advance spiritually. Just advance in that awareness, how much the identification is there, how much the sense of separation is there, and then work on that. And then the compassion, the empathy starts to unfold by itself as the identification with the me personality is reducing, your empathy is increasing. And then some have it's in their destiny, it's in their makeup that they have to do a lot of external work. And others, they may not have that destiny. They may not do a lot of visible, compassionate work and still be full of compassion wherever they go. They carry it with them and somehow it's influencing the surroundings. It's an inner development, not how much external activities you are doing. It's something that is coming naturally. It's basically should there because if we were in our natural condition, we would be aware there is no separation. And if there is no separation, then of course that empathy is there all by itself. So it's not like one of the things that you have to do on your journey. And then if you have done enough of them, then somehow you get the reward for it. But to be really compassionate is to become aware that we are not separate. And then you can feel the pain of people who are suffering, and you're very fact of connecting with them and then not slip into pity and lament with them and start to suffer yourself. But you stay strong, rooted in your own awareness, in your own awareness that there is the full happiness is there, untouched, that cannot be destroyed. And then you may feel sadness with them, but at the same thing, feel complete in yourself. And there's something very beautiful from you can flow over to them that helps them. And they feel comforted, they feel strengthened, they feel inspired to continue. It's an inner thing that is developing with your increasing self-awareness. It's not some kind of outer duty that somehow we have to do that that much of compassion and then we have fulfilled our duty. It's something that keeps on unfolding as you go along. And then, as it happens from day to day life, if somebody comes along and needs a helping hand, and you feel from your heart, yes, that's what is on the program, then you give that helping hand. But if it's not on the program, you can go pass by, you can have the empathy, but you are not compelled to always act on it. It's not that you are somehow not doing your duty as a sadhak if you are not always acting on it. Act on that identification that makes us feel separate. And of course, if somebody comes and wants something, then the tendency is to close up in our little bubble and feel more separate. And we can learn not to do so. We can learn to have an open heart and connect, but then externally, sometimes it's your story that you help, sometimes it's not your story. And you can very well, without a bad conscience, see that it's just not on my program now to go out of my way to help that person. But you can still have that empathy with them.
Right. Thank you, Werner. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Hari Om. When Vikas came in,
Can I ask?
I saw another one opening up Samsung SM-S9. Is there somebody who wanted to come inside, or was that by mistake
Can I
open?
ask?
Yeah, I'm hearing somebody. I don't see you. Ah, now I see you.
Hari Om.
Hari Om, Hari Om. Hello. What's your name again?
Hello. Oshri. My
Oshri.
name is Oshri.
Yes, Oshri. Yes.
So my question is, when I started practice meditation some years ago in Arunachala, there were intense flavors of this Sat Chitananda and this oneness, and it was very intense and so much fun.
Yeah.
And now, I don't know, it a little bit somehow more superficial maybe, or I don't know. And the thing is that I don't want to lose the passion for the path, for the practice.
Right.
And so this is one thing. And the second thing, which is I probably connected to it, is when there is this stillness during meditation, the mind just jumps up immediately in trying to analyze what is happening, and it's a really burden.
Right.
That's the question. You can help me with that.
Yeah. Well, I'll try to inspire you to help yourself. Now, because of the first thing, that yes, you were here and then did meditation, and it was very fulfilling and blissful and Satchitananda and inspiring, and now you don't feel that much of it. For one thing, you have to know there is a difficulty that is there now, and not only here, so around but around the world, there is something that has been put into people in the atmosphere that makes it more difficult. Everybody who has tried to practice longer, many people have recognized it's more difficult. But that doesn't mean it's not possible. Now, what is important is not that you chase so much after bliss. Bliss is more a byproduct that comes and goes. And it's not the touchstone of whether you are on the right path or not. Sometimes you may have a period where it's very blissful and it's beautiful. Then, of course, for the mind, it's very inspiring, but then that may also pass. And you become aware this kind of bliss is a momentary experience also. And if you think more and more into that peacefulness, then gradually out of the depth of that, another kind of uh, peaceful joyousness starts to emerge that has not so much, which is not the same like a blissful experience, which is more like a gentle awareness that gradually gets stronger and stronger and can feel then the whole day long, whether you practice or not. And that's something that has to sort of develop. It's there. It's always there. We don't have to achieve it, but we have to learn to open up that it has a chance to come to the surface. So don't feel that you are doing something wrong if you are not having the same kind of blissful experiences so often as you used to have another time. Just accept, okay, it seems to be a bit more difficult, but you just continue in spite of that to connect as good as you can. And now the second one, that is also a trick of the personality. Then if you can then finally connect well and it's all becoming peaceful, then there the personality jumps in and starts to analyze, and we can maybe dream, how do I explain it to my friends? In what kind of words am I putting it? It's that same identification with the person who doesn't want to let go. We have that strong yearning to be complete, to be happy. Everybody has that, because deep down we know this is our natural state. And when we are caught up in our mind and it goes round and round and a lot of problems and tensions, then there's always that yearning for peace, for being home, for being natural. But then the identification has been so strong that when we start to push at it, then that fake personality that is there, that ghost that we have created, doesn't want to let go. And then comes in any disguise like a spiritual spiritual analyst. Okay, let's analyze now my experience. Let's put it in the proper place. Let's explain it. When you become aware this is happening, then you tell yourself, hey, hey, this is again the same fellow. This is again the same mind. I need not go and analyze. There is nothing to analyze. There is just to be and come back to that silence as good as you can. And when the thoughts start again, then when you become aware, as long as you don't become aware, it just goes on. But when you become aware, there I'm going again, blah, 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 about my silence, about my experience, then you just step a step back. Stop being interested in explanations. The one who wants explanations is the one who thinks I'm in control, I'm on top of it if I understand. but this is that aspect that we have created that is flimsy, that personality that has no real existence and can never really understand, can never really be in control. But the feeling is there. When I think about it, when I put everything in boxes, then the feeling is there. Okay, I'm quite clear, I'm in control, everything is well. So let it go. When you become aware, don't withdraw being interested in explanations and just be, come back, redirect the attention maybe to inquiry, maybe to breathing consciously, maybe to feeling your body sensations, but bring the attention away from the thoughts and relax in that. And then that peacefulness is there again. And the mind will come back and try it again. Sometimes then you may stay there effortlessly. You can do it. It's not a particular technique that brings this about. But if you keep on coming back as good as you can, then it's like you're making yourself available. That sometimes it's just happening. But then you have to be patient with yourself. We have been functioning in our head so much for so long. It's not an easy thing to just drop it. The habit is so strong. On top of that, we are connected with the mind of humanity, with the mental sphere of humanity. And it's very agitated. It's like this. It's so easy to get influenced and go on and on and on. So we have to become more familiar by again and again. Look at it, honestly. Try, step out of it. And then it will happen sometime that you are just at ease, at peace, effortlessly. And then the mind comes again, and there we go back to the being aware of it, withdrawing the interest, coming back home, making yourself available.
This thing of analyzing, I think, comes with me from the compulsion to be honest with myself. That is just I'm not just building another mind game.
Hmm.
That not because of other things, but it's like then I feel that I'm fighting this tiger of this tiger mind.
But then the very fact of wanting to analyze can become the very mind game, not your peaceful experience. But then the fact that I want to analyze it and be sure, then I want to analyze it because then I'm feeling secure. And sort of we have to let go of that wanting to be sure and secure and feel familiar and comfortable in it. It gives a false sense of being in control, but actually we are not. We don't have to understand. I mean, the basic idea is totally good to observe and not to go on new mind trips and get stuck there. But then the very trying to find out the mind trips can become a mind trip without being aware that we strengthen that me personality who wants to be in control. So then sometimes it's good to just let all that go and just be. Just be.
Thank you so much, Ariom.
Hari Om, Hari Om. You are welcome.
Hello, Werner.
Hello, Nelly.
I want to ask a question.
You're welcome.
I want to ask about meditation on mantra or on some phrase. Dial shared that he repeats mantra and it helps him to feel calmness and that thoughts go away when he repeats mantra.
Yeah.
And I see in myself that it doesn't happen with me. So I don't used to repeat mantra, but I like to repeat some phrase that gives me calmness. For example, I I can repeat something like that God is the source and God is support. So when I have many thoughts in my head and that I should do this and that and they disturb me, so this phrase can help me to come back to the main thing, that all these results that I thought about, these things that I think about, that they are not so important. But my mind don't stop, so it's very active all the time, and I just do it. It seems to me better than I. It's difficult to just to watch for me on these thoughts and come to the feelings of my body, but I need to use some phrase that helps me to remember what is more important for me. But my mind doesn't become empty. So I mean that some people repeat mantra and say that it's not important what I don't know how to say. So maybe not understand what it means, this mantra, but it helps to stop thinking. But for me, I think it's important to understand what it means, what I say, because this helps me to come back to the source. So I just wanted, yes, to tell this how it works in me, but it
Yes.
doesn't take my thoughts.
Right. People are different. And some people who have an affinity with mantras, they may do mantras and not really care what it means. Just because the sound is helping them to connect, and the sound and the mantras have been used for a long time, so there is a certain power in it. And if that faith is there, then it works. But if that faith is not there, then it doesn't work. And then you don't have to try to artificially do that. Then mantra is not for everybody. If somebody has an affinity, it can be very powerful. But actually, you picking out a phrase and then repeating that phrase is also a mantra. It's then your honest mantra that comes from your heart, and that can be as powerful as any traditional mantra, because it's really shaped by you and made for your story and your situation. Perfectly tailored to what is necessary. So by all means, if that works for you, then use that. And of course, it's not so easy that you just use a mantra and then all the thoughts stop. If that was so easy, then a lot of the problems that have on the way would be gone. We could just use a few mantras and the mind is quiet. The habit of thinking is so strong that even if we use these helps like a mantra, then there the thoughts always want to come in between. And if you use a mantra for some time regularly, then it can become mechanically. You can do the mantra and simultaneously go on thinking. So as mantra helps, or also a mantra that you have created, a reminder. Those mantras one creates oneself so are more reminders for our mind. A reminder helps, but then even that, if we repeat it, can become a bit mechanical, and still the thoughts may go on and on and on. But if you catch yourself thinking and you have already that own your private mantra going on, then it's easier to shift the attention back to that main mantra, to that phrase that you are repeating. Even if after that it goes off again, blah, 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 thinking about something, when you become aware and you're doing your mantra, you just gently shift your attention back to that and relax it then. And then gradually the mind is quietening. You cannot expect do the mantra and then poop, the thoughts are gone. It may happen,
Yes.
but it won't just be a guarantee because the habit to think is so strong, and somewhere there is a fear of stopping thinking that drives us to think on and on and on. But it's even if sometimes it looks hopeless, it's not hopeless. Subtly, whenever we try, whenever we practice, it keeps on shifting, and eventually the things that look very difficult suddenly become easy to do.
Yes, Werner, thank you. And yes, I agree that habit is so strong, and even I live now in the country and lead a quiet life, don't have so many things to do, but in spite of that, my mind always involves in all these simple things that I do every day. It's I'm surprised how strong this habit, and it's not so important all the things. Yes, but it's things that it's too important, very important,
Yes.
like it was before. Yes, and this phrase, yes, I change it too from time to time when I feel that I don't, it doesn't help me to come back, that it becomes mechanically, the other one comes to me, that helps me to find, to feel this connection inside. So it should be, I should feel this connection and feel very, how to say, very some kind of relaxation, and I should like this phrase inside of me, so to feel very pleasant when I repeat this, and then it helps just a little to relax, to come back.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you.
Go on like this. It's okay. Just don't get disappointed with yourself, finding yourself thinking about unimportant things as if they are very, very important. That's the habitual thing. What thoughts are doing, hooking on something, and then make it appear as if it is very, very important, and gives the idea we have to go on thinking. Well, we don't. But the old habitual me doesn't want so easily to give up and is afraid if we stop thinking, then all that structures that we have created will slowly come crushing down. So on one hand is fear of that, on the other hand there is longing to go beyond that. And at least now you are very aware those thoughts are there, and this will make the difference. As long as we are not aware how much we are thinking all the time, then is very little possibility to redirect the attention away from the thoughts. But now we are aware, you try to do something else, and then the thoughts still come and think about things, and that awareness and that consciously starting to redirect the attention and then not liking too much that those thoughts going on and on, that all will help to detach. And gradually, the more you detach, it will just calm down.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Werner. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om. Once I have seen Andreas opening, and it seems now nobody else wants to come in. You want to come in, Andreas? Hello.
Yes, I would, but there's a question. Mariam sent it a question too, and since I always ask a lot of questions, maybe you want to check that question first.
Somehow it does. Oh, there I can turn it up. I still have a question concerning naturalness. I can see only a little bit, so I have to move it. I have not the habit of doing it. Okay. Can you maybe speak about what you mean by that? It is to follow what feels easy and good to connect, or what does that mean? Better mean to you. Thank you. What I mean by being natural is not a particular type of personality that we should develop. By being natural means that we are capable of letting go of all those things that we think we are, of how we should be, how we should appear, what people think about us, simply being consciously alive, consciously conscious of being consciously alive. The more we just can be and let go and relax in that awareness of being, the more you are in your natural state. It's not that I have a certain recipe and say that is a natural person, that you have to be like this or like this or like this or like this, and then you are natural and you don't do that and that and that and that. Coming back to our natural state means to dive in that awareness of just being here, being alive, and then let that awareness of that essence get stronger. And the more we are rooted in it, the more we can relax in it, the more our inner creativity comes out and is manifesting itself. You can very well continue doing your job, your profession, living where you are, do what you are, but without always that mental program that I should do this in order for that. I should be a good woman in order to get this out of it, in order to get the appreciation from my parents, in order to get the appreciation from my friends, in order to get this or that from somewhere, but just simply let that inner beauty manifest itself in your daily life, in your practice, in whatever you are doing. Our mind has been trained to always make everything into a business. I do something, I want to get out something from that. I do something, I get a reward for that. I get a salary for it. And learning to be natural is to learn to just feel complete by being aware of being aware, by being aware of being alive, by doing at that moment exactly what I'm doing and being fully okay with it, without having an idea what am I getting out of it, without having always these hidden agendas about everything. What we are doing in our mind to create the tensions, to create that sense of a burden that we are carrying along, that is artificial. That is, we have somehow picked up growing up and then gotten trained to be like this and forgotten that it's not our natural way and taken it for granted that we should be like this, and a lot of stuff we have accumulated without being quite aware that it is not natural. It's something that we have artificially learned and then artificially maintained, and we can learn to see it and learn to let go this burden. Without all that, you are in your natural state. But then your inner beauty, your inner creativity will express itself. You may continue to do exactly the same thing in your life, or you may change your life externally. It doesn't matter, because if we are not always carrying that hidden agenda along with us, then your actions become natural and become an expression of your love and your inner beauty. Okay, shall we leave it at that? Andreas, you can come back once more.
Since Vikas asked about compassion, I thought about bodhisattva vows. Like in Zen or in Tibetan Buddhism, they
Yes.
always want you to take bodhisattva vows, which means that you say, I will postpone my own enlightenment till all sentient beings are enlightened. And this never feels very real for me, because I always think, no, I don't want to do that. If I have the chance of getting enlightened, I would like to, and not wait till everybody else, because this takes forever. But I can see that it's like kind of a good trick to lose my obsession with my own ego, to have a vow like that. But I cannot say it out very honestly, in a way. It just would be, I just would speak it in German, Lippenlessness, but it's no real like intention behind it. So I always have difficulty with that. You want to say something to that?
Yes. Okay. Obviously, you have a difficulty with that concept, with that vow, so you just don't worry about it. They have that bodhisattva vow, and then people understand that exactly what you expressed, that you should not get the full enlightenment, because if you do have the full enlightenment, you get out of this game of birth and death, and then you cannot more help other people to get get out of this. After all, it's a contradiction in terms. Then how can you help somebody to get that full enlightenment they are talking about if you are not yourself fully enlightened? It's just, yes, you can say it's just one of those tricks to help the mind not to be so ego-centered. That what I talked before about, that then we have maybe experiences and then we jump to conclusions, and there we start again an ego trip about our spiritual achievement and our spiritual advancement, our spiritual greatness. And instead of that, having that idea, okay, if there is a spiritual development, let it be for the good of the whole. That is a very helpful idea of not getting, at least it can help us not to get into that me, I gotten somewhere. But in a way, you can be at ease, because ultimately everybody is enlightened. So you don't have to wait for any time. It's not that within this manifestation, sometime everybody will be in that enlightened state, because there are always beings who come into games like this in order to learn, in order to grow. And if one place is completely spiritualized and totally changes place, then there are other changes levels, then there are other places where the game goes on, and there is no end to it. But there is nobody who is really, in reality, not enlightened. So you don't need to worry about having to wait for eternity.
Yeah, maybe they mean the realization of your own enlightened nature or true nature.
Yes, I mean, that idea of me as a person getting enlightened is basically wrong. And so uh, directing the attention in a way that you rather do it with the motivation that you are doing this for the whole, for the benefit of the whole, that may be a good opening to help you not to slip into that me, I got in somewhere. But it doesn't work for everybody. Like all the spiritual teachings that have been given, they work for some people, they don't work for others. Some people feel very touched by this concept of bodhisattva. It helps them to open their heart and gives them inspiration to go ahead. And others feel something is a bit strange about that. And so then you need not worry about that.
Yeah, my impression is that I'm very much egocentric in a way, and so it feels not very natural to me to do that. But maybe it would be helpful for me to lose this like focus on myself a little bit. But I don't know really how to do it. Would you have any good advices how I can maybe foster this kind of um, attitude in a natural way?
Just do what I'm always talking about. We have been trained to be egocentric, and it's not such an easy thing to let go that attachment. But all that I'm talking about is basically to redirect the attention from that attachment to come back to your true self. And that is not egocentric.
Okay.
Okay, shall we leave it at that? Hari Om. Hari Om.
Adios.
Hari Om. Starting out talking about the tensions, the stress that is there in so many people, the tendency to slip into it is there in everybody, because most of us have often functioned like this. And then when we come to spirituality, for some time, it's just normal that stress comes. I have to achieve something. I have to achieve something. How do I do it properly? And then all those teachings are being given that help us, that help the mind, that persuade the mind, that trick the mind sometimes to drop more and more that attachment to that me, I. And whatever helps is good. And for some people, some concepts help. For other people, the same concepts help not, but rather create a bit confusion. For some people, some techniques help, and other techniques, for other people, the same techniques don't help. They are not appealing. So then it's again a stress, again something to do, it's again something to reach. Some people need for a time to have that goal and need this pain and the strain to struggle for that goal, but eventually we had to let it go and learn to let go, learn to be natural, learn not more to do a business, not even spiritually. That I want to get enlightenment and then already have all the ideas what I'm going to do as an enlightened person. There is no such a thing. Sometimes, especially in the earlier times, many get also stressed on the spiritual path. I have been stressed a long time. Somehow I needed that stress to carry on, but then eventually it was time to let it go in order to make it possible that that experience can unfold beautiful, effortlessly. Still continuing some practices, still continuing to remind to be open, but not with that idea. I have to do that in order to get something and being stressed about it. All these concepts that are in the teachings, they sometimes they may are being given out to help to open up to that we become effortless. And that then the experience can unfold in its own unique beauty. And whatever helps to let go of that me, ego-centered way of living and become self-centered, centered on God, centered on truth, centered on the essence, the unnameable, with so many names. Whatever helps to make that shift, that is encouraging that shift, that is good. And what is good for one may not always be good for another, but if it helps us to let go of our old structures that we unnecessarily carrying along, then these helps, then these concepts, then these techniques, they are good. I wish you all well. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om.